So who went to the football game last week? Anybody go to the game? What's wrong with y'all? Who went to the game? Who y'all played last week? Played A&T. Who won last week? So I went to A&T undergrad. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about my background, then we'll talk about my introduction to the music industry, and I want to just kind of paint a picture of my world as a business manager. So I went to North Carolina A&T undergrad. I was an accounting major. I finished in A&T in '91. And then I went to University of Illinois, and I got my master's degree in taxation there. And so when I left University of Illinois, I was recruited by KPMG. So y'all heard of like Pricewaterhouse and Ernst & Young and all of that. So I went to KPMG and was just a normal, regular corporate tax accountant there. And I was happy to have the background, happy to have the experience, happy to be in Atlanta. I got recruited to the Atlanta office, so it was a great time to be in Atlanta. This is like '93, which is kind of like at the beginning of the music surge. So if you're kind of like a music historian, that's when LaFace Records was happening, Outkast was beginning to happen, so a lot was beginning to happen in Atlanta in '93. So when I was looking for something different to do, my husband and I had children very young, and so I was trying to figure out how I could have some more flexibility and not have to work the crazy, normal public accounting hours. And I had a very unique opportunity to start working in radio. And so Kathy Hughes, Radio 1 out of DC, had come to Atlanta in '95, which was a big deal because although Atlanta is a major metropolitan city, we only have one urban radio station. So finally the hip hop station had come in '95. So I had an idea for this financial education show that I wanted to do. And so I started working with the radio station, and we had an intern at the station, very bright young man who was a student at Georgia State, who kept saying, I'm going to be a rapper, and when I become a rapper, I want you to be my accountant. And not knowing anything about the music business, I'm thinking, oh sure, that's cute, he's a nice guy, very mannerable, very driven. So I said, sure, no big deal. And then in 2000, I was in Orlando, Florida, and I heard Blues on the radio for the very first time outside of Atlanta. So that college intern was Lucas. And he said, would you just rock with me? So I was at the radio station, and his manager worked at the same radio station too. His manager was a personality on the air. So Chaka was on the air, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., and so we all entered the music industry at the same time. Didn't know anything about it. We were just learning right from the beginning like everybody else. So that's how I got introduced to the music industry. And so then I just started meeting people. And so when they realized that I was really an accountant, I was a real CPA, they would all begin to ask me to do stuff for them. Can you help me buy my house? Can you help me fix my credit? Can you help me just do different things for them. And that's how I literally began to build my business. So I never really had a desire to work in the music industry. It just kind of happened to me. So so if y'all read, this book has been around forever. I've been in the music industry for 18 years. So this book has been in the industry forever. So what we're going to talk about today is chapter 4. Because I am what the industry calls a business manager. And so Professor Florence did mention some of the people that I've worked with. I've worked with Ludacris for 17 years. I worked for Jeezy 10 years. CeeLo about 10 years. Worked with Future. Worked with August Alsina. So we've had an opportunity to work with a bunch of people. And there are lots of other people that I've worked with who just aren't in the industry anymore. Most of them because, for whatever reason, the consumer stopped buying music. Because you think about it, people leave the industry because they have to, not necessarily because they want to. That's why people end up leaving. So for whatever reason, they're not hot anymore. Their cycle is over. So I've had the pleasure of working with lots of other people who have cycled out of our industry. So when y'all read about the business manager, y'all have any? So this is very informal. Y'all can ask as many questions. I have a few things that I want to go over with you. But everyone read chapter 4. You read chapter 4. Everyone read chapter 4. Yeah? Have y'all talked about business managers in here at all?
Yes.
Okay. So just give me an idea of a couple of things that you think that we do. What's your general idea of what a business manager does?
A business manager basically does and or oversees everything else, like all the other jobs basically, such as like a business manager. Say if you look like a business manager wouldn't be the I'm thinking of a person manager.
Okay.
A business manager would be more on the business side of things. And actually, I lost myself. That's not a person manager.
Do you have anything to write with?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have an idea of what we do, what a business manager does? Yes.
Handle all of the client's finances and make sure they stay afloat and make sure that.
Okay. Very good.
I was gonna say, not just like their finances, but like any type of like business ventures that they may go into, like any type of partnerships that they may build with other people or companies.
Right. Yes. We handle all things money. So if you take an artist, just, pick an artist, any artist that you like, and we work for artists, we work for producers, we work for songwriters, and our job, really, we're like the CFO. Anything that relates to money we handle, and that's for them personally and any businesses that they have. Any businesses that they have, whether they're entertainment related or not. So if we take a client like Ludacris that Professor Florence and I have shared together, I think Chris has a total of like 22 companies. It's my responsibility to manage the money of every single one of those companies. So, for example, what my job is, so if we look at him personally, just as a person, I pay all of his bills. If he wants to buy anything, a house, a car, anything that he's going to buy that's like a significant purchase, a major purchase, it's my office's responsibility to find it and to get it financed. So you name it, we have bought it. Airplanes, cars, you name it, we have done it. So again, we can find just about anything, but they're normally the bigger assets, real estate, cars, things of that nature. And for his businesses, we do everything. All of the money that he gets, whether it's from a record label, whether he performs at a concert, whether it's from publishing, whether it's from outside business venture, every dime that he gets comes to my office. I pay all of his bills, business bills. He has employees. It's my job to run payroll. So make sure all of his employees get paid. All of his employees have benefits. They have health insurance and life insurance and dental insurance. It's our job to administer all of those benefits. All the insurance that he has, whether it's for assets or whether it's for tour insurance. Maybe he's coming to perform at Howard's homecoming, and Howard is going to require us to have insurance. It's my responsibility or my office's responsibility to get that. Now, the big part of my business, half of my business, it's called tour accounting and logistics. So what that means is, it is our job. What's the last concert anybody's been to here?
I went to Made in America in Philly back like in the end of August.
End of August. I heard Neil was close to here last week or so. Is that true?
Yeah.
Neil was close to here. What was it? What did you say?
Oh, at the Howard Theater.
Oh, at the Howard Theater. Okay. What's another concert someone's gone to recently? Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
J. Cole.
Oh, J. Cole. Okay. So you can take J. Cole, for example. He came to concert. So what you all do as a consumer, you all buy your ticket, you go, and then all of this stuff is happening. You all just show up. But maybe it's someone different than J. Cole where they have a full band. So it's my company's responsibility to anything that you all see on the set, all of the people, the band, you'll see the guys in the back, the production, putting up all the staging and building the stage and putting up the lights. It's our responsibility to hire all those people. It's our responsibility to make sure that the set actually gets designed and created. It's our responsibility, again, to make sure that we have insurance. It's our job to make sure everybody gets paid on the road. Because you think bus drivers, we'll have a band, we'll have all kind of engineers, we'll have a production team. So we have this team of people whose job is to make sure that when you show up, you have an amazing experience. Then after that happens, obviously we have to break it down, cart it up, bust it up, put it in 18-wheelers. I was actually, Jeezy was on tour with Wiz Khalifa this summer. We were out in Pennsylvania, and Wiz Khalifa probably had about 5 18-wheelers of production equipment. All the staging, all the lighting, literally 18-wheelers full of stuff. They break that down every night, and then when they go to the next city, a crew of people puts that stuff back up again, night after night after night. So that's all the stuff that y'all don't see. So that's our job, to create the experience that you see. The other job that we have is reporting. So we're setting the budget for the tour. How much money we're gonna get a show, what is our production gonna cost, and it's my job every week to tell the people on the road, how are we doing? This is what's come in, and this is what we pay. So that way we know, are we making money? How much are we selling merchandise? How much have we ordered merchandise? It's our job also to manage the majority of the tasks related to merchandise. So it's called tour accounting and logistics. That's a specific job. If you've heard of companies like Live Nation, they have people, that's all they do. That's the only job they have. So there's some very unique work opportunities in the industry. And who would think that you have accountants and that's all they do is travel around to different venues and make sure all of this stuff gets handled and paid the way that it's supposed to get paid. That's their only job. So on average, my clients are performing in about 300 concerts a year. So that's why it's a very big part of our business. See, summer is high touring season because that's a lot of times when people are going out on the road on tour. We have a lot of interesting multi-state and international tax issues as a result of it. Believe it or not, Canada is one of the toughest countries to perform in. It's one of the hardest countries to get in. When we were on tour probably about 6 or 7 years ago, Jeezy was on tour with Wayne. We had about 4 dates in Canada. Canada would not allow Wayne into the country because of his previous record. So all of our Canadian dates got canceled. He literally got turned away at the border. At the border. Canada will put somebody on a plane in a second. So it's our job to make sure people have their work visas, that we can get into certain countries. Like Australia, for example, if you don't have health insurance, you cannot work or perform over there. You have to be able to prove that you have it. So our job is to facilitate all of those logistics and make all of those different pieces happen. So again, that's half of the revenue that we generate is related to concerts. Any questions about that? Yeah.
Say that you're performing at a music festival, per se, like your or Made in America, Pitchfork, Lollapalooza.
Sure.
Would the accountant still travel with them and make sure that like, do they handle all the payment from music festivals per se instead of concerts that they specifically are putting on and they're the headliner?
Well, music festivals, I'm glad that you mentioned that. They are huge now. America, we are very secondary to the music festival market because they have been huge in Europe forever. I mean, you take people like Eminem, they have been performing in music festivals overseas for years. Somebody like an Eminem with the international festival, he can probably make somewhere between $1 to $1.5 million. That's how much money they can literally make a show. He was just in Atlanta 3 weeks ago for Music Midtown. He probably got about $900,000 for just one show. Just one. That's what, probably about 2 hours with performing, maybe. So for a festival, for example, there's a company that's running the festival. So the festival's responsibility is to make sure that the talent, the different people, the different bands, the different artists get paid. But it is our responsibility, the people who represent the artists, just like Outkast is on a festival tour right now. Although they are doing it with a company called William Morris, who's their promoter, it is Outkast's specific responsibility to make sure that all the production happens, all the people get hired, all the people get paid. And the person that Outkast has, the equivalent of me, we would be responsible for that. We would be responsible for that. So no, it doesn't mean I have to travel with them. So normally if I have a client on tour, I'll normally always go when the tour starts. whatever city that we're gonna start in. We'll normally fly out midpoint of the tour just to see how things are going, and then we'll always go to the last show to wrap it up. So you don't literally have to be on the bus going from city to city to city. We can run most of it with technology. We can run